Hey, welcome. Today we're diving into a database you might think you know, PostgreSQL. But we're going to explore a pretty wild idea. What if this one tool could actually be your entire application? Yeah, no complex tech stack, just the database. Let's see how that's even possible.
So let's start with this. The source material flat out calls it the world's most advanced open source relational database. And you know what? That's a huge claim. But it's not just marketing hype. It's a reputation built on some seriously powerful features that have made it a go-to for developers all over the world.
But just how advanced are we talking? Well, so advanced that some developers are doing something that sounds kind of crazy. They're replacing their entire tech stack with just the database, an entire app running inside Postgres. How on earth is that possible? Well, that's the big question we're tackling today. To even wrap our heads around this idea, we've got to first understand what makes PostgreSQL so special in the first place, and why some people are calling it the everything database. Okay, so at its heart, any database is really about bringing order to chaos. Think about it like this. It takes a messy, jumbled pile of information and transforms it into a perfectly organized library. Every single piece of data gets its own specific spot, and there's a catalog system to find exactly what you need, like instantly. This idea of structure is everything. So, how does PostgreSQL actually create that order? Well, it all starts by organizing the chaos.
PostgreSQL is what's known as a relational database. And look, that's just a fancy way of saying it stores data in a way you're already totally familiar with, in structured tables made up of rows and columns. Seriously, just picture a simple spreadsheet. That's the basic idea.
Here's a super simple example. In this persons table, each row is a unique person. And because all the data is neatly structured into columns like first name and city, we can find, sort, or filter this info with incredible speed. This right here, this simple structure, is the foundation of its power. Okay, so we've got our organized library. It's all neat and tidy, but how do we actually ask for a specific book? Well, you have to speak the right language, the language of data. Now, this is super important to get straight. There are two different things here. SQL, which stands for Structured Query Language, is the language we use to talk to the database. PostgreSQL is the database system itself. It's the tool that understands and carries out those SQL commands. So think of it this way. One is the language, the other is the fluent speaker. But remember what we talked about at the beginning? Postgres is way more than just a place to store stuff. This is where it starts to get really, really interesting. It's time to look beyond just storage.
You see, PostgreSQL has a kind of secret weapon for keeping that perfect organization we talked about. They're technically called constraints, but you can just think of them as smart rules that you apply to your data columns to make sure the information stays clean, consistent, and totally reliable.
For example, you can set a rule called a primary key on an ID column that guarantees every single row has a unique identifier, no duplicates, ever. Or you can add a not null rule that says a column, maybe for an email address, can't be left empty. No way. These rules are like little automated guards, protecting the quality of your data 24/7. All right, we've seen how it organizes data and how it protects that data. Now let's connect all of this back to that mind-blowing idea from the beginning, using Postgres as your entire tech stack. So in a typical app, the database and the user interface, the part you actually see and click on, they can't talk to each other directly. They need a translator, a kind of middleman, to pass messages back and forth. That middleman is called an API. But what if you could just get rid of that middleman entirely? Well, that's exactly where a tool like Postgres comes in. It's a program that literally looks at your database structure, your tables and columns, and automatically generates a fully functional API right from it. You don't have to code it yourself. So let's put all the pieces together. Step 1, you store your data in Postgres like normal. Step 2, you use a tool like Postgres to auto-generate the API. And now, for the final, craziest piece of the puzzle, you can actually store your entire user interface, all the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files right inside the database too. And just like that, your data, your business logic, and your user interface are all living together in the exact same place. As the source material puts it, you really can't get your data any closer to the UI than that. Which brings us to our final question. Is this kind of all-in-one approach the future of development? A much simpler, faster way to build apps? Or is putting all your eggs in one basket just a crazy idea? It's a powerful concept, And it's definitely pushing the boundaries of what we thought a database could ever be.